Hello, everyone. Welcome to WKDW 97.5 FM, Real Community Radio out of Northport, Florida. We are here very excited today, and you're listening to us from the Bishop West Real Estate Tower. Thank you for buying the tower for us. And I'm so excited. In case any of you don't know, I'm the Giving Tuesday Southwest Florida chair for Giving Tuesday in our area. And because of COVID, it's been kind of a crazy type year and a half, I would say, because we've been going through a lot of challenges. And today, I'm really honored to have Celeste Flores coming to us from Giving Tuesday International. She works with community campaigns here in the U.S., and I'll bring her up right now for everybody to see because nobody really wants to listen to me. So, hi, Celeste.
Hi, Marie. It's so nice to be with you and all the wonderful people around the world.
Absolutely. And this is streaming all around the world. We're streaming today on Facebook Live, 3 channels, on YouTube Live, 3 channels, and on Twitter. So hello, everybody out there in cyber world. We're really glad to have you join us today. And I encourage everybody to share this because a lot of the information you'll get firsthand with Celeste. She is the Giving Tuesday campaign. Aren't you the community campaign person that you're the go-to for us? So let's talk about even your background before we even get going with that. Celeste, how did you ever get involved with Giving Tuesday?
It is a story actually similar to yours. I raised my hand to say I wanted to be the leader in Austin, Texas. So I was running an organization called I Live Here, I Give Here in Austin, Texas. And we were doing, community-wide campaigns, and we wanted to increase generosity in our community even more. So we became the lead in Austin, our organization, and ran a giving and did the community-wide campaign for Austin, got all the nonprofits and individuals and businesses engaged and involved, and did that for a couple of years and loved it so much. I now live in the DC area, and in that move, I just kept working with Giving Tuesday, and now I'm so fortunate to have a role where I am working with basically 300 of Celeste and Marie's all over the U.S. who are creating a generosity movement in their community. So that's how I got here.
Well, that's actually very interesting because I really didn't know that you had moved. So that's good. That's something that I just learned. And as we're going through the process, for all of you out there that may not know, that watch my channel or watch our radio station's channel, what is Giving Tuesday? And I'll bring this up. This is one of my favorite slides, and I know it was used years ago, but I just love it. Giving Tuesday is a global generosity movement fueled by the power of social media and collaboration, unleashing the power of people to transform their communities and the world. It's a simple idea, whether it's making someone smile, helping a neighbor or stranger out, showing up for an issue or people we care about, or giving some of what we have to those who need our help. Every act of generosity counts, and everyone has something to give. And that's one of the things that we really, really stress here in Giving Tuesday, Southwest Florida. It's not a matter of money. It doesn't matter because everybody has value. And one of the things that we value among the people that get involved with Giving Tuesday with us here is their time, talent, and treasures. And Celeste, what is this week? What is this week known for?
Oh, this week?
It's the Pro Bono Week.
Oh, yes, for giving every day. Yes.
Yes, giving every day. And
I love it. I was thinking, is it your birthday? Did I miss something?
No, it's Pro Bono Week. And there's so many of us, especially here in Southwest Florida, that have retired or are at that stage of life that we have a lot to give. Our children may be grown and gone. So we take the time in our lives to take those talents that we may have and to share them with the world. And that's one of the things that I do because I'm older. I've done a lot in my life and I'm known as a connector. I know how to put people together and to put different organizations together. And that's one of the things that people out there, not everybody has the wealth of money, but they have the wealth of talent or connections. So that's one of the things that I see. Now, what do you see, Celeste?
I see exactly what you said, Marie, and really the genesis of the day was just a day to do good. It was created after a day of, a lot of consumerism and individualism, and it really brought back the idea of helping others and our shared humanity. And it was created as a day to do good. And like you said, it's an open, broad concept of what is good and what is something that you can give, and it really is kind of an equalizer. Everybody has the ability to give generosity, everybody has the ability to receive generosity. We really don't believe in that there's a certain group of people that only give and there's a certain group of people that only receive generosity. And you're right, it does not mean that you have to have the money of a Warren Buffett to be called a philanthropist or a giver. And I believe that the ability to tap into your humanness, if that's a word, and doing something kind for someone, using other assets or resources that you have. And I use the word assets not as a financial way. We all have so much about us, whether it's our voice, whether it's our time, whether it's things around our house that we actually can donate, or is it teaching your kids or youth in your community what generosity means? There's so many ways to express generosity, and as you said, Marie, today, I mean, this week is honoring pro bono work, or your ability to use a talent, something that for the benefit of others. And that does not cost money. It does cost time, but it does not cost money in order to do that. And we believe that if this generosity is happening all over the world, that this is a place in which we ought start making decisions and operating from, about this shared humanity, and about and every decision we make is fundamentally rooted in generosity, that it will really create a world in which we want to live, in our community in which we want to live, in a neighborhood in which we want to live, a street in which you want to live. It really is the notion that one person can change the world. Imagine all of these one persons all together trying to uplift generosity in a way that's meaningful to them.
Right. And we all have the power to change the world, because to change the world, all you need to do is change one life. And the most beautiful and the most profound way to change one life is simply to be kind. That is all. Yeah, that is all. But when you're talking about that, there's a lot of things that I have found that a lot of people don't realize. They'll say to you, "I don't have anything to give." Well, let's rethink this. And it's a movement. Giving Tuesday is a movement. It's not, there is Giving Tuesday International organization, but it was founded by 92Y out of New York City, just on Henry Tim's concept that he had this idea that, if the world could come together on one day, instead of putting all our eggs in baskets into, the Black Fridays and the Cyber Mondays, let's take a look around us and let's help each other. And I know, Celeste, you found COVID was a way of us to take a pause and take a look at the world and see what is important. Do we need more stuff? Do we really need more stuff? I'm trying to purge in my life, and I'm looking and I said, why do I need that gadget? Do I need these things? And I had a sister-in-law that had just suggested to everybody in the family, why don't, instead of giving gifts to each other, why don't we see what the need is for that person. Maybe we don't know. Maybe they need their utilities paid. Maybe they need something else. Do they really need that thing? Or maybe they would feel more fulfilled if you gave a donation to their favorite charity in their name. So, think outside the box. Don't, open up your heart and see what's out there. How can you help?
Yeah.
Another thing, Celeste, my mother ended up with COVID and she ended up in a nursing home up in Minnesota. And I went and spent 3 weeks up there this summer because you could finally get into the nursing home to visit with her. But she ended up where she can't go back home. And one of the things that I found is the isolated people in nursing homes. There are so many people in a nursing home or around that are older that don't have anybody left. And I think one of the things that, if you have the capabilities to just sit down and send a card or a note and just a reflection to somebody that you may know, you may not know, even like to a soldier that's overseas or someplace else. I know that that's done, but you remember the days of pen pals? Maybe you're too young.
No, I remember pen pals, definitely. I still think it's a thing though, too.
I do. I do think that there are some people that still do the pen pal thing. But what does it mean to a person to get something in writing?
I
And
know, right? And to actually
right,
see somebody's handwriting, that they took the time to write a note versus a quick text, a quick email. Not that those aren't meaningful, but getting something in the mail or getting something handwritten is revolutionary these days, right?
right. I'm actually I'm a fundraising chair of two organizations, but for one of my organizations that I'm chair of, we just had a meeting and I have received 2 invitations in the mail for some events coming up. No, it's a little unusual. A lot of them don't send out like they used to in the mail that you get an invitation. And I said to my team, I've never been one to send out things. I'm more social media and getting it out that
Mhm.
way and sending out emails and that. However, it it felt special to receive something in the mail, an
Yes.
invitation. It really did. And I said, I really am reconsidering this and to do something. So our team decided that we are going to look at that and look at sending out something in the mail and actually do handwritten notes on each invitation, just so people realize that we are inviting you. We're not just sending a blanket, uh, you know,
Exactly.
blast out there. We know who you are. We know how to come and get you.
We know where you live because we have your address.
Right.
I think that notion that everything it lives online these days is certainly true. However, everyone also thinks that these kinds of campaigns or days or efforts all have to either live online and through social media. But I remember when running things in Austin, there were so many organizations that invited people to support their work on Giving Tuesday through postcards, through written notes, because they felt that they had an audience that really still valued that, but also expected that. They weren't online. Some senior organizations chose to do an online campaign. However, their mode and their strategy was to send something in the mail. And I think that you know thank you notes are definitely so important in this day and age, to be a thank you note that is personal and handwritten or made personal in some way. Um, but I think that it's really, really important to think and to remember that we are all zoomed out. We are all have been on social media. Everything under the sun has been put online for us because of COVID. However, the need for human connection is something that was so missing, but also it is so apparent that as things change around the world, everybody's in a different spot with the pandemic, that the need to connect was still there and is still there online. But it is definitely, I am seeing as I work with communities, people really trying hard to do something either in person or more personal than online. So I think it's really interesting that we might actually be bouncing backwards. I think social media and online will always be there, but I think just what we value and how we like to communicate might bounce back a little bit because we missed that connection.
Yeah, the humanity of it all, to be able to get that hug, to be able to see the joy or the tears in somebody instead of on a screen. Yeah, and I know not that that's important. Like right now, we're streaming, and it's the devil's advocate here.
Right.
But one of the things about Giving Tuesday, it is social media driven, and
Right.
that's one of the things. And I had gone not the year of COVID, but I had in the previous time taught people how to uh, raise money on Facebook, how to raise money using Instagram, because you can do it there, to get registered for PayPal for a nonprofit, depending on the organization or the way the pay is being done. Because people sometimes on Giving Tuesday put this idea in their head, even though Facebook's going to match money, uh, they had to learn how to do the matching. And I know PayPal was doing some matching there before. Also, I don't think they did it last year, but this year, I don't know if they're doing it or not. But I know Facebook is of 7 million. And the way that they're doing it is a little bit different because everybody will get a piece of the pie. It's not going to be a big pie unless you're in the first beginning and you have those big donors, but everybody should get something. The biggest way that I see for people, if you're savvy at doing fundraising peer-to-peer, if you want to do a nonprofit that you really care about and they're registered correctly with Facebook, and you don't have to be registered correctly with Facebook, it's just the way that they get paid. All the fees are waived. And I know that sometimes, especially Facebook getting a bad reputation right now with being in the news media, and that a lot of people don't want to go that way. But I know the older people around me, they use Facebook,
Yeah.
and they don't use TikTok. They don't use these other media,
Yeah.
social media. So you have to go to where the sources are, the people are. Who's your audience? Who do you want to reach? And
Yes.
also for being kind. One of the things that we're going to be doing here for Giving Tuesday Southwest Florida, because we have the ability to do it, because the radio station, we're an all volunteer nonprofit radio station out of Northport, Florida, and it's WKDW 97.5 FM, but we were broadband first, www.kdwradio.com, and we've been worldwide. We get 5,000 listeners an hour to over 20,000 worldwide.
Wow.
So it depends on what the program. We're very eclectic. So like right now we'll have this program, and we have theater, radio theater, that the old time theaters like the Shadow and all that is on some of it, and music and all. But what I'm going to be doing is hijacking the radio station from 10 to 7 o'clock, most of the time that people are actually listening to the radio. And we'll have different nonprofits and people that make a difference within the community on during that time. We'll be streaming on all of these channels, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all during that time, plus being live on the radio and broadband. So a lot of people around the world will be able to hear about all the different nonprofits from our area. But what I'm trying to do, and Celeste is my first guest here, is giving people around the world the opportunity to come on right now, and we can stream with them. And even if they want to come on Giving Tuesday, I can make room for them because we do it this way.
Yes.
I do it this way.
Zoom and our StreamYard and, making it easy.
Yeah, it makes it easy, and it makes it where as long as you have a decent internet connection, we can do it, and you'll get your face out in front of people that would never see you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Celeste, as you're drinking your coffee, is that coffee in
No,
there?
it's water, and my allergies are so bad. I'm so sorry, but they're like
No, that's
in
okay.
my throat, and I'm like, all right, I need to drink some water, otherwise I'm gonna start coughing.
As long as you don't drink the Kool-Aid. No. Okay,
Or is
okay.
it water?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Might be a big cocktail.
oh, it could be. You could be like what Kelly and not Kelly, uh, Hoda and Kathy Lee used to drink wine all the
Drink wine
time
while
on it.
doing.
Yeah,
I could
on
not.
their show.
I would.
Yeah,
I'd be done after 30 minutes.
you and me both. I'm a true drink drunk. Um, I wanted to also talk to people about how do you get involved in Giving Tuesday. I'm going to bring up the website here so people are able to see, exactly where they go
Mm-hmm.
for Giving Tuesday. And it's givingtuesday.org. It's actually down on the bottom of the screen and scrolling across. For those of you that are a listening audience, it's www.givingtuesday.org. And to actually get to Giving Tuesday Southwest Florida, it actually links to our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Instead of the radio station's page, I have it going directly to the Facebook page now. And with that, if anybody wants to be involved, my name in our area, and Celeste is
Right.
for Celeste is for the
Other,
rest
if
of the
you're in
nation.
another state looking for your local Giving Tuesday leader and campaign, let me know. But yes, Marie's Southwest Florida.
Yeah. So for any of you, though, it has all the tools. You don't have to
Yes.
reinvent anything. You go to
No.
givingtuesday.org, and as you click around here, and I have, excuse me, but I have to put on reading glasses because that's where I'm at in life. Let me see. I have so many screens up here. Yeah, on my thing. Okay. So but
Mhm.
here, join. Okay, say if you wanted to join the movement. Okay, how do I do this? How do you join,
Yeah, so go.
Celeste?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's an opportunity. Sorry, it's really small, isn't it? So it's basically asking you if you want to join the movement as a country campaign or as a community campaign, but more importantly, how you could do it just as an individual. You'll see there, these are just things to consider: being kind to your neighbor, volunteering virtually. There's no sign up to do Giving Tuesday. There's no wrong way to do Giving Tuesday. The site gives you so many examples if you're a family, if you're an individual, or if you want to raise your hand like Marie and I did and run a community campaign. But Marie, if you go to the top, you can I'll show you how to for individuals to get more ideas. So if you go up to resources, you see resources over
Yeah,
there.
right there.
Yeah, if you hit resources, just hit the word resources. Great. And then when you go down a little bit, this is how you do Giving Tuesday, and it gives you all the materials. Say you want to create Facebook posts, or you're an organization that wants to use some of the graphics, they're all there. Then this here gives you ideas depending on who you are when you enter into the site. Are you a nonprofit? Are you a company? Are you an individual? It gives you ideas on how, are you a youth and group, or are you a family? It gives you all sorts of ideas for you to do Giving Tuesday, but it really is just dependent on what you feel is your act of generosity on this day. So if you go to our site, you'll see all sorts of resources. If you want to see where there might be a community campaign in your backyard, then you would go to let's see, Giving Tuesday. Yep, right there under join, you'll see find my community campaign. Now we have a map, and this is showing you all over the world where people can where we have campaign leaders and community leaders. And so you get really deep into, hit the United States button. So this is the United States campaign. Hit that button, and then you get just the map of the United States. and it has pins where or hearts where there might be a campaign. Can you hit visit website or visit page, Marie? I think that's what it says for the U.S. That little that black.
Oh, you know what? It showed. I hit it, and it
Oh, it showed up
actually.
in another tab. Yeah.
Yeah, it showed up. Let me remove this. Let me
Actually,
remove that.
it opens up the map of the United States, and it has hearts in all the places that we have a community leader like Marie, who is doing some sort of movement campaign in your backyard, in your community. Sometimes we don't have someone in there, but if you're part of a network that you feel like you want to run a campaign on this page, you can send us an email and we will talk you through it. So anyway, this is all the places in the U.S. where we have community campaigns, and this is where you can find out if there's a community campaign happening in your backyard. But if you're an individual, you have a family, you're a business, you're a small business, you're a brand, you are a youth group. On our site, we'll give you many ideas to do Giving Tuesday. But again, you don't have to sign up to do Giving Tuesday. We'd love to hear about it by putting it on social media and using hashtag Giving Tuesday. But if you also want to do something in your community, see if your community has a leader and find out where what they might be doing. Each of these hearts, when you click on them, it pulls up the city, state, and it also the link to the page of the leader who might be leading a campaign.
Yeah, like I'll click here. I'll see if it'll show up. If you see it says Giving Tuesday, SWFL, Northport, Florida, and then you go like this and you click on it, and it actually takes you to our Facebook page.
Yeah.
So, and other people have websites set
Mhm.
up specifically for their campaign, but we just happen to have ours as a Facebook page. So when we're talking about this,
Mhm.
I have met, and I'm going to talk about all the people that I have met because of Giving Tuesday. When
Oh,
putting the campaigns together, I would have never met all these people because when you're in a community or a county, you pretty much stay there. But I had a outreach to other counties around us to get people involved. Due to COVID, I kind of lost my zip. And a lot of the people that were involved with me changed jobs. One of the things, and Celeste, maybe you can
mhm.
address this because I don't know about you, but I saw a lot of people leave the nonprofit world or change jobs during COVID because there was how many people, how many nonprofits went out of business?
I don't know how many, but unfortunately, there were some nonprofits that did not make it. I think, and then and to your point, there always is a lot of movement with year to year in the nonprofit world. However, I think the pandemic exacerbated that. There were organizations that had to cut funding for positions. Some people did get out of the sector and went into the for-profit sector. Some just moved to another organization, and so it's really hard to follow where people go in this very not transient. It's not that, but it's just people tend to move year over year. But I think the pandemic changed what that looks like and made it even worse, I guess, of where people were moving, people no longer in the sector, or organizations having to completely close and lay off their staff, which is really unfortunate. However, that's what happened with many other industries this year or this past year and a half.
The entertainment industry was hit so hard from backstage to front of the house to the actors on stage to film to TV to your community theaters. All of them were tremendously hit very, very hard. And luckily, many of them survived by inventive, using their brain and thinking outside the box and trying to come up with ideas. How could they survive? Because they depend on partly on ticket sales for people to come see them, and they live and breathe by performing. The
Yes.
actors do, and the
Yes.
people behind ticket sales, your ushers and your back set designers and all those people. And I felt so bad because the arts is in my heart. I'm not an actress. A lot of people think I am because I've been president of community theater, and right now I'm involved in visual arts. I'm on a board for visual
You
arts.
missed your calling,
I,
Marie.
I
There's
know I
time
should.
for a second act.
I don't know. I don't know. I should do stand up, maybe. No, not really. Not really. But when people are looking at their gifts,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking at the neighbor across the street because we have an 80-year-old man that lives across the street. And I see him all the time walking his dog. But as he gets older, he had to have his daughter fly down to clean his house
Oh no,
from Massachusetts. Not that I'm going to get up and go clean his house because I
no.
bring in people sometimes to do mine, but there are people like that. Just a kind act of even visiting because he really doesn't have. He lost his brother around here, and his wife and. You look at it, and we do. I mean, we visit with him, but there's a neighbor there that may need that, just that kind invite over for dinner. What are they doing for Thanksgiving?
Yes,
Is
yes,
there a family around? Is there something? Do they need a ride someplace? Maybe you don't want to invite them in, but you could bring them a turkey dinner from
yes.
your. It's up to each individual where their comfort level is too.
It is, and I think it's those gestures that you don't. They seem small, but they mean so much to someone else. And especially in isolation, we have to check in on our neighbors. And I think that during the pandemic, that was probably one of the biggest signs of biggest shows of humanity for me was those that checking in on their neighbors and ensuring that they are cared for. Um, I got to know my neighbors a little more during the pandemic. It's really easy to breeze through your life. I have a little one. We're shuttling all over the place. But when things slowed down and shut down, realizing we had neighbors that didn't have family, didn't have, resources at their disposal. I live in an area that actually snows. So we were clearing people's pathways so that they could get to where they needed to go if they needed to do a walk just to get out of their house. That's really isolating if you can't even walk out of your house safely to do a walk to get out of your house for a little bit. Then so it was things like that. And again, you don't think twice about it for some people, but it makes all the difference to someone else. And it was important for us to also demonstrate those things to our daughter that it is not just about you, even though she's 7 and thinks everything's about her. It is, and she's an only child. However, it was just showing that we all live in this space together. We're all in this together. And this is a opportunity to do something on this day. But what we hope is that it actually becomes part of your lifestyle, that every Tuesday you wake up and not only think about tacos, but you also say, what am I doing for my community today? It's Giving Tuesday, and doing one thing or
Uh,
two things
right. It's Giving Tuesday every Tuesday.
every Tuesday.
And I have to give a shout out. I was going to bring up a screen right now, but there's a restaurant here, and I'm going to give a shout out to the Valentino boys.
Woo!
And so many people don't know that in this area. Boca Lupa, they own Boca Lupa coal-fired pizzerias, and they also own Donato's Pizza, Donato's Italian restaurant, and Prime Steak. And what they do is every Tuesday they pick a nonprofit, and there's a lot of people that don't know this. Every Tuesday, and it just happens to be that it falls on a Tuesday. And I always tell them, hey, you're the Giving Tuesday people here. Uh,
Yes.
and they take their 3 pizzerias and they give money right off the top to one nonprofit for all 3 without batting an eye. They said that's their way of giving back so they don't even have to figure it out. And I asked David, who's the brother that takes care of the managing that, David and Dennis Valentino are the two guys. And I said, why do you do it like that? And he said, because I don't have to mess with the bookkeeping. We just do it straight across. We don't have to figure it out. And he says, we pick that one nonprofit and they apply online and they make a decision and pick a nonprofit. And uh, everybody sends their friends there on Tuesdays, no matter what nonprofit it
It
is.
is so
Yeah,
smart.
because you don't have, many of the restaurants will make you bring a slip, give somebody a slip, and they have to give it to the
Yeah.
waitress or the waiter, the
No. Yeah.
staff. And truthfully, what they're doing is a way to do it. Just do it across the board. Just pick a percentage that you're going to give across the board, and then just get a lot of people to come there that day. And that's a generous way of doing it. So, shout out Valentino boys
It
for
is. And what they're doing is they're not only making it easy for themselves, but it's super impactful. I mean, 3 restaurants, sales on Tuesday, I'm sure is a significant donation. But the other side to it is that they're emulating to their employees that they care enough about the community to even do that. And being also an example for other small businesses on how they might do something similar.
absolutely. And they do a run. And the only reason I'm mentioning this one restaurant group, because it's individually owned, is because I've seen what they've done in the community, but they're very quiet about it. They're
Yeah.
not ones that wave the banner to see what we're doing in that. They
Mhm.
do a 5K run, and it's called Hollow at the Moon or something. They do it in September, and they pick, and I believe this is somebody that's going through rough time with health issues like cancer or
Mhm.
something, and they do the run for that person.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, they really do an impactful job, and um, it's very hard for me to ever get them to do an interview. It
Oh,
really
I'm
is.
sure.
Yeah, because they don't want the accolades.
But you're telling their story. So if they
I'm
can,
telling,
you
I
tell your
tell,
story then.
yeah, absolutely. And just for everybody out there, when, especially if you're a nonprofit
Yeah.
and you have donors or people that do things for you, and it doesn't have to be a donor, it could be a volunteer. Value as an organization, as a person, what they do.
Yes. Yes.
Be-
Absolutely.
because I've left organizations because of that, because of not being valued. And the thing is you have to value the gifts that people can give.
Yeah.
Not everybody can give everything that you may want of them. And, be upfront with them and
Yeah.
tell them. So, Celeste, where did you grow up?
I am from Texas. I originally grew up from. I mean, I was born in San Antonio, Texas, and my dad was military, so we did travel a little bit. But I moved to the DC area from Austin. But I've kind of lived in a bunch of different places. We've hopped around, but I am originally from Texas, San Antonio, Texas. And if you have not visited San Antonio, Texas, you need to.
Yeah, I have friends that live there, and I have never been there. So I know. I've been to Santorini, I've been to Rome, I've been to Athens, I've been to Munich, I've been to London. I've been around, but I haven't been to San Antonio.
You gotta
So
add that to your list. We're not that far away from you, and and do yourself a favor and just see all the things around San Antonio too, the Hill Country, and it's very close to Austin. If you want to check out Austin at the same time,
I've been there. I've
yeah,
been to
of course.
Austin.
Everybody goes to Austin, and I love Austin, and I miss it so much, and all of our friends and our family who is not, who is only an hour away from there. So yeah, we go home often enough, hopefully, to see our family. We're very close to our family, but we love living I'm not gonna lie, we do love living in an area that has 4 seasons.
I was just going to say that's one thing I miss about living in Minnesota. Not that I miss the winters because they
No.
were we would get up to 40 below for where I was at. So yes, but I miss the fall leaves. Fall is my favorite time of year with the leaves turning and the colors and yeah, and you're right by the mountains. You can go even up into the
It's
Shenandoah Mountain.
the
Yeah.
Shenandoah, yeah, Valley. We go, and then we go to all the pumpkin patches around here. We're doing that this weekend, and there's nothing but
Kill me
I'm wearing a
now.
sweater.
Kill me now.
I'm wearing a sweater because it's actually cold outside, and it's and the weather, the leaves are all turning, and it's really, really beautiful.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I want to bring up for our audience a few things that I'm going to give you for suggestions. And this is something that Giving Tuesday has out there. I've actually added a couple more of my own suggestions in here. Give your time or talent, volunteer, give your skills, help a neighbor, visit a senior. Number two, give your voice. Sign a petition, speak up for a cause. Talking about signing a petition, somebody hit me at the um, gas pumps the other day to sign a petition, and I said no because I like to read the stuff that I'm signing. I just don't do it when they approach me out
Yeah.
there, and it was for sports gambling, so I didn't really go down that road.
You're like, that's not up my alley, but okay.
Yeah. Give money, donate, or fundraise for a nonprofit. Very easy. In case you do want to learn how to do that, just reach out to me. It's Maria at kdwradio.com, and I can help you with that. Give goods, organize a supply drive, donate clothes. And around this time, there's still a food shortage of people that do need food. Donate clothes. Actually, during the pandemic, the Goodwills and the different organizations that normally, Salvation Army and that, they weren't taking clothes as much because everybody was cleaning closets and everybody
Yeah.
was bringing stuff in. So they kind of put a hold on what they were taking. They were being very, very fussy of anything that they were taking in at that time. So check with your local ones. And when you're giving that, like here we have the Center for Abuse and Rape Emergencies, that they have a store or one for the homeless shelter. That look around and see what else is out there than the traditional ones that you may help out there to help supply people in some different areas, because they even take the clothing that is donated and help clothe some of these people that are in shelters. Also, give kindness. Send a card to a senior or shut-in. Buy someone lunch. Compliment a stranger. And be kind and respectful to that server or fast food clerk or even the person that's checking you out at groceries. Because I'm grateful that I even have a server or a fast food clerk. Have you seen the signs up in the areas on drive-throughs and that? And I've gone to, in fact, my husband and I were going over to Orlando this last week. We went through 2 drive-ins and just kept on going. There was no help.
No, I know. It really is. So it's about being kind to those who show up as the sign
Yeah.
because there is such a shortage in so many businesses.
Yeah. And, do you want to be the one that's waiting on us? So I always put myself in that place.
Right.
I'm grateful that somebody even waits on me in a restaurant anymore, or there's somebody that bags my groceries. Here
Yes.
down in Florida, we have Publix, and Publix still has baggers and people that'll even take your groceries out to the car if needed. And when I see these people, I'm grateful for that senior citizen that pretty much has to work to supplement their income, and they're a cashier at a store, or they're the bag boy,
Mhm.
or bag person. taking out the groceries or getting the carts in the parking lot or things like that. So when you look around you, the road rage too is insane. Everybody be patient.
Yes.
You'll get there eventually.
That's a form of kindness, right? Patience is a form of kindness. Patience
Eh,
with others
right, and respect.
and
Re-
respect.
and respect. Well, with the respect that you and I have for each other, well, let's hope you have it for me. I do for you, Celeste. I'd like to say to our audience, thank you so much for tuning in today and listening to Celeste and I talk about Giving Tuesday. Remember, you're a person that can make a difference in somebody's life. It doesn't have to be the world. It can be a family member, a friend, a neighbor, the grocery clerk, the person in the restaurant. If you want, if you would like to make a difference within your nonprofit communities, within your community, reach out and see how you can make that difference. Remember, Giving Tuesday is always a Tuesday following Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then you have Giving Tuesday. And let's not forget Small Business Saturday, because those small businesses is what keeps us moving. And instead of buying that gift for somebody, maybe you want to get some socks for the homeless shelter, because that's the number one asked for item in a homeless shelter. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Celeste,
Wow,
for coming on with me today
so fun.
and to be here. And remember, you are making a difference in this world, Celeste, by everything that you do.
Ew.
So thank you so much to everybody. You've been listening to WKDW 97.5 FM, Rural Community Radio out of Northport, Florida, home of the Bishop West Real Estate Mobile Tower. See you guys all again next week.
Bye.
Bye.